The NFC equivalent, the game was not as good. But the NFC equivalent of the Bills and the Ravens yesterday at Lambeau Field, as the Green Bay Packers humiliated the Detroit Lions. Now, the final score was not like 60-0. It was 27-13. But if you watched this game, and I did, because I bet on Detroit, that's like the one bet yesterday that I'll look at and say, you know what, I didn't get unlucky here with like a flip of the coin. That's just a terrible read by yours truly. At no point after this game kicked off did I ever think, wow, I think I've got a chance here with the Lions. It was apparent very early that this was like Green Bay was a heavyweight and like the Lions were a featherweight in this particular matchup. The Packers absolutely outclassed them. And it felt to me from Green Bay like a statement of intent. A complete game on both sides of the ball. And we have to start by talking about the newest Green Bay Packer, Micah Parsons, who not only had a sack of his own where he's chasing down Jared Goff. And it's just like one of these things where you're watching it in the moment and you're thinking to yourself, my God, this is like what happens when a lion's chasing like a warthog or something. Like 0% chance that Jared Goff is not getting sacked on this play. Parsons is going to sack him. It's going to happen. And it did. But there are clips on social media of Micah Parsons making Penei Sewell look like a revolving door, blowing right by one of the best tackles in the league. And it's not just Parsons and his sack of Jared Goff, but it's Parsons and his impact and what it does for everyone else on this defensive line. It should be no coincidence to anybody that Lucas Van Ness, who to this point has been a pretty big bust for the Packers as far as where his draft capital was, played his best game of his career yesterday. And that Rashawn Gary had a sack and a half. And Devontae Wyatt looked great. And this Packers defense all of a sudden, who couldn't stop the Lions last year, made Detroit's offense look stupid. Oh, you guys want to march down the field on this 9-minute drive? Great. Here's 3 points. Oh, here's this 11-minute drive. Great. Here's a 35-yard field goal attempt. We ain't letting you in the end zone. And they did eventually get into the end zone on my guy, Isaac Tesla, with maybe the catch of the day in the National Football League, because he's awesome. But it took until the end of the game. So the demolition by the Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love looked good. Packers offensive line looked good. Jaden Reed somehow played in this game, looking good. Matthew Golden looking good, didn't have to do much. Tucker Kraft, I told you a couple weeks ago, I love Tucker Kraft in fantasy this year. Felt pretty good looking at his targets and seeing him catch a touchdown in this game. And I find myself thinking after the fact, after what we saw on Thursday night, and I'm not going to be prisoner of the moment here, and I don't want to overreact too much to week one. Because coming into the year, I picked the Eagles to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. And I'm going to stick with that. But man, should the Packers and the Eagles be the same price to win the NFC? Philly at BetMGM plus 350. Green Bay plus 450. Who was more impressive in week one? Who played better competition? Objectively, the answer is the Green Bay Packers. And like I said, to stick with Philly, I'm going to let this play out here with the Eagles. And we'll see what Philly looks like in the Super Bowl rematch coming up on Sunday at Arrowhead at the Chiefs. We'll see if Jalen Carter plays. We'll see if Xavier Worthy plays, etc. But I'll tell you, after that game, I think we got a clear 1-2 in the NFC, in whatever order you want to put it, with Philadelphia and the Green Bay Packers.